Hey, I'm going to do a song that I wrote for my son. I was 17 years and 4 days old when he was born. And when I saw him, I thought, this is so cool. We're going to grow up together. Yeah, well, that worked for a little while. And he got to be 16 and went through some of those changes, those rites of passage that boys do, especially with that first car thing. But I had to get on him one night, and he had driven his car past where he was supposed to drive his car, both ways, everything. All the rules were out the window. So anyway, I had to set him down and have this talk with him. And I got pretty hot and heavy with it and went on. It was a school night, so he finally went to bed, and after he went to bed, I was kind of like, it just dawned on me that it was my time to be the dad. And so that was kind of a revelation to me at that point in our lives growing up together. And so I was sitting there kind of doing what I do. My guitar has always been like my therapist, so I kind of call it getting on my knees and playing. It's somewhere between praying and playing songs and working on stuff, but looking for answers that way. And so I was doing that. I was getting on my knees and playing, and the question I had was, how can you be that mad at somebody and still love them that much? Where does that come from, And this song is the answer I got that night. It was about 4 in the morning, and I also had a co-writer on this. It was God. That's when I learned God writes them and lets me put my name on them. And he didn't even take publishing on it, but had a lot of help on this one. But it's the only song that George Strait ever recorded of mine that he actually called and asked me to change something on. I was pretty happy with it when it was written. And I didn't want to say, well, you need to talk to my co-writer about that. But it was odd because George and I are the same age. We're within a few months of each other. Our life places are fairly the same with kids and stuff. And I thought it odd. He said, well, the way you've got it written just makes me sound old. But it was very accurate date-wise. But I rewrote it and changed it, and he recorded it. And it was a hit for him, and that was great. And I was glad that this song got to reach so many millions of people. But I got to thinking lately, us being the same age, George and myself, if you look at him and you look at me, it is so easy to tell who lives them and who just sings them. So, boy, that guy stayed pretty for a long time, hadn't he?
Yes.
Oh, well. Well, anyway, this is that song, and it was people often ask me what's the favorite one I've ever written. This is it, and it's because of the feedback I got on it from people all over the place that heard this song, and it reached more people than I ever thought it would. I got sent home from school one day with a shiner on my eye. Fighting was against the rules, and it didn't matter why. When Dad got home, I told that story just like I'd rehearsed. Then stood there on those trembling knees and waited for the worst. He said, let me tell you a secret about a father's love. A secret that my daddy said was just between us. Said daddies don't just love their children every now and then. It's a love without end, amen. It's a love without end, amen. Now when I became a father in the spring of '81, there was no doubt that stubborn boy was just like my father's son. And when I thought my patience had been tested to the end, I took my daddy's secret and passed it on to him. I said, let me tell you a secret about a father's love. A secret that my daddy said was just between us. He said daddies don't just love their children every now and then. It's a without end, amen. It's a love without end, amen. Last night I dreamed I died and stood outside those pearly gates. Suddenly I realized there must be some mistake. If they know half the things I've done, they'll never let me in. And then somewhere from the other side, I heard these words again. They said, let me tell you a secret about a father's love. A secret that my daddy said was just between us. See, daddies don't just love their children every now and then. It's a love without end, amen. It's a love without end, amen. Thank you.
All right.